So this video tackles the subject of nature of a human being and his or her characteristics. So it will look into what a person is by looking into the different perspectives and issues. So it asks the questions such as what makes a human human, and what makes a human different from other beings such as animals or plants. So before we begin, we must remember that human being is an important subject in philosophy, and understanding of the nature and condition of man is the foremost goal of the discipline. So the word man is a general term which is commonly used to refer to the entire human race, and other related terms include humanity, mankind, and humankind. So the word human refers to man as a species, Homo sapiens, or modern human beings. So we, modern human beings, are considered as one of the most successfully adapted species on the planet. So person is a much more complex term which generally refers to a human being granted recognition of certain rights, protection, and responsibilities. And human nature is a general term which refers to the deepest natural behavior of a person that distinguishes humans from animals. It is composed of collective traits that is considered as the essence of being human. So how does philosophy view the nature of man? So let's look at the four ways of looking at human nature. So let's look at the four ways of looking at human nature, but keep in mind that there are other theories and perspectives outside this. Okay, first, the biological perspective considers man as part of the natural world and a product of evolution. So it views humans as a close relative to primates such as apes. Okay, but humans have developed distinct physical features such as bipedalism, highly developed hands, smaller jaws and teeth, and larger, more developed brains. So these traits have contributed to the successful development of the human species as the most widespread and most dominant species on the planet at the present. So also humans share with animals the same primal instincts for survival and reproduction. So aside from that, humans have developed further with additional traits and capabilities. So this includes planning and intentional action, innovation and creativity, communication through language and writing, the technology, and then the symbolic interaction as evidenced by religion and also culture. And some consider culture as man's most significant achievements that separates man from other species on Earth. Next is the psychological perspective about man. So it places emphasis on human behavior and thought processes in analyzing human nature. Man possesses mental faculties that enable him to possess awareness, a sense of self, and the capacity to perceive and experience. Here are the significant mental faculties and capabilities of man. So the psyche, which refers to human mind, and is divided into the conscious and the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part which governs awareness, while the unconscious mind consists of latent, repressed emotion, thoughts, and desires. Next, rationality, or the state of being reasonable. It is the ability to understand experiences in order to solve problems, or do tasks and engage in decision making and judgment. Next would be intelligence, or the ability to perceive information, store knowledge, and apply it in various situations. And Also, the next one is the introspection, or the ability to examine one's own conscious thoughts, feelings, and mental state, and the capacity for self-reflection. So the next perspective is the economic perspective, which focuses on man's ability to engage in productive activities in an effort to meet his wants and needs. This perspective emerged in the 19th century, so it places emphasis on the economic man, or Homo economicus, who is driven by rationality and self-interest in his desire to possess wealth. This perspective considers man as a productive being. His primary role is to produce and engage in labor. Additionally, economic forces are considered a greater influence on the actions of man than society or culture. So next would be the theological perspective, which considers man as a God's creation. So man is considered to have a special relationship with the Creator, so being created in His image and given an immortal spirit. Man's existence was brought about by the purposive creative act of God. The ultimate destiny of man in this perspective is part of a divine plan. So you should also remember that there are lots of religion, and believers may have different perspectives. There are also atheists who don't believe in God. So how does philosophy define the human person? The question on the nature of humanity is just one of the many issues tackled by philosophy. Philosophers also ponder upon the concept of the human person and what makes him or her a distinct entity. So the human person refers to the individual and all the attributes and characteristics that sets him or her apart from other human beings. Significant concept which relates to the concept of the human person are the self, identity, and personhood. So one of the most unique traits of humans is the awareness of self. Like all other animals, humans beings possess sentience, which is the ability to feel and experience. So sentience is often seen as the ability to perceive the surroundings and react to stimulus such as pain. However, we humans not only experience and react to this world around us, so we are also able to look into ourselves and be aware of our distinctness and uniqueness. So various views address the issues regarding the self and have proposed certain views such as to its nature. So the self as innate. This view holds that the self is an essential part of the human being, and self-awareness is natural and innate. So some religious views consider the concept of self as synonymous to the spirit or soul. And second, the self as emergent. This view holds that awareness of the self is gained through the interaction with the world and other human beings. Next would be the self as integrated and developing. This view holds that the self is composed of varied elements that change over time. So the concept of the self is closely tied with the ideas of identity and personhood. So identity is defined as the distinct personality of an individual. Personal identity is composed of a person's unique physical characteristics, mental attributes, memories, ideas, and views. So identity is said to persist through time, though certain aspects of it may change. And personhood is the recognition of a human being as a distinct entity or a person. So philosophical discussion on a person has led to varied notions which justify the recognition of personhood. The person as an autonomous being. This notion holds that a human being is considered a person if he or she possesses the ability to determine his or her life through reason, free choice. This view assumes that human possesses reason. He has the capacity for reflection and he has the ability to engage in decision making. So this perspective is a major influence in determining the legal definition of a human person and the conventional concept of an adult. Next would be the person as a unified individual. This view asserts that a human being has the inherent capacity to function as a person. It emphasizes the potential of the human being and recognizes that each human person the means to achieve his or her capabilities. So each human person has the means to achieve his or her capabilities. So based on this perspective, disabled people, unborn fetus, infants, and children are recognized as persons, also they may not fully possess the cognitive faculties of an adult. So next would be the person in relation to others. And man becomes a person through interaction with other human beings. So this view human being as a social animal, linking it to the saying that no man is an island. Remove him or her from society and he or she ceases to become a person. That's the view asserts or believes. So Pope John Paul II asserts that the human person is defined by his or her action and experiences, and through them achieve self-development and fulfillment. And there may be situations where a human being may not be recognized as a person, which was particularly common in ancient history. Luckily, it's not the case today. So examples include highly disabled people who can make decisions for themselves, such as a person who has brain damage or in a comatose state, wherein other people may be given the power to decide. Also, in ancient history, slavery was common. Instead of being treated as human, the slaves were treated as property. So in US, for example, during the 18th century, African slaves were considered inferior. Also, women in the past were also not recognized as persons. They were treated differently compared to men. In some parts of the world, such as Greece of the past, women were not considered as citizens. They had limited roles in society and government. Luckily, it's not the case now. But there may still be biases and stereotypes that are hard to overcome. In Philippines now, you have women presidents and women leaders. So, in contrast, there are instances that the concept of person extended to other entities aside from human beings. And this includes artificial entities such as corporations. Such entities have legal rights and can protect themselves and can be a separate entity from its founders and members. That's why when you apply for a corporation, a businessman's personal assets will be protected. Also, animals may possess more advanced cognitive abilities such as chimpanzees, gorillas, and dolphins, wherein they may be recognized as persons. Also, with the vast world outside the Earth, it's highly possible that we are not alone. There are speculations regarding the possibilities of intelligent life forms that may be recognized as persons. Only time will tell. You mostly see such creatures in science fiction movies or books. So still, personhood remains largely applied to human beings. So the concept of human person is especially important in law and politics, as it is closely tied to the concept of civil liberties and rights. The recognition of personhood is a requirement for a human being to be granted rights. Other political concepts such as citizenship and civic responsibility are also closely tied to the concept of the human person. The concept of the human person is also significant in discussions related to social sciences, biology, and medicine. That's also additional reason why human being is an important subject in philosophy, and that an understanding of the nature and condition of man is the foremost goal of the discipline. So, as review, you can pause now and read the summary.